Hello everyone. Today video is on Angular pagination. Okay, so I am going to do a demo by creating a latest Angular project that is version 12, and I am going to use the Angular material UI paginator component. Okay, so let's jump into creating our sample Angular application. So I am going to use CLI command for creating my project, that is ng new and your project name. I will name like and 15, latest version 12, right? 12 paging demo. So it's going to create me a sample project. So it will take some time. Okay, here is our project. I'm using Visual Studio Code for development. Okay, so here we can observe the latest version has been created as our project, that is version 12. Okay, now let's install the Angular material. Okay, so to do that, you open terminal and run command like ng add @angular slash serial I believe. Let's run the command. Okay, Angular has been successfully installed. Let's cross-verify it from the package.json. So here you can see the Angular material, which is also version of 12. Okay, and you can observe here an API response. So this is the API that is locally running in my system. I have developed this API with using .NET framework. Okay. So what I will do, I am going to consume this API into my Angular application that we have created just now. Okay. So if you observe here, this is the in the data property, there is the payload. So what I will do, I'm going to bind this data to the table, and I'm going to use the these properties that are related to the pagination. But using Angular material, we have a lot of advantage where it will calculate automatically, like uh, disabling the next page, disabling the previous page, showing the next page, showing the previous page, and the page numbers. Everything will be taken care by the Angular uh, paginator component itself. So because of that, we no need to have all these properties. We can have only the total records, total count. This represents entire number of records. Okay. So for example, this is my to-do API, right? This is my to-do API. So total records means all the records within the database, means this represents total number of records, to-do records are present at my server database. Okay. So I need this property and the data which is need to be binded to the table. That's it. Remaining all properties will automatically taken care by the paginator component itself. Okay. So what we will do, first let's create the models to capture this API response. Okay. For that, so now let's add the uh, response model into our project. So to do that, I can use CLI commands. So that is like ng g for generate. I want to generate a class, right? So I will class, and I want to have a folder like models slash then my class name. Okay, to do model. Okay, so if you observe here, models folder is created. Inside the models folder, I have model dot to do model. But I need one more model. Okay, that is also class. So class, and that also within the models folder only, and that is like to do dot paging model. Okay, so let's run the command. Okay, now we have created two models. Okay, I no need the spec files for my demo. I can ignore or we can delete them. Okay, so I will make them like interface and change them like that, and here also them like interface and little change in name. Okay, now let's add the properties to them. For that, let's go to the page I have shown you, right? API. So copy the properties from there. Okay, from here I need to copy. So let me copy these. Okay, and that is for to do. Okay, so and what I can do, I can do the type. Okay, and here this is the parent object to do paging model. So it should have data and total records. Okay, so let's copy them. It will be a number. Okay, and data property, that is to do model array. Okay, the name is automatically imported. So this is my response model. Okay, so now what we will do, let's create a service. Okay, that service is for invoking the our API call. Okay, to create a service I can use a command like ng generate service. I will name like app service. Okay, let's run the command. Okay, service file also created for us. Okay, so this is our service file. Okay, so let's inject HTTP client, private HTTP, and its type is HTTP client. Okay, so let's import the HTTP client. Import from Angular slash common slash HTTP folder. Okay, and from here we can import the HTTP client. Okay, and now get to do's. It's my method. Okay, and this method should have uh, current page and page size. Okay, if you go to our API, so this is our API, right? See URL. So this URL requires two parameters like current page we are requesting and size, the number of records we want to fetch from the server. Okay, these two values must be passed to the API. Okay, so current page, okay, and page size. Okay, these should be provided from the component. Okay, now and observable of return type, what it will return means to do model paging. Okay, that is the response type of our response. Okay, total count and data, this is the response type. Return start http get. Okay, so let's copy the URL. Okay, and URL contains some dynamic values, right? So to make them dynamic, I have used backticks here. So if you use backticks, we can add a dynamic value in the string by opening the curly braces with the dollar prefix, I believe. Yes, current page and the page. Okay, that is our service. Okay, so what we have did here, we have created a method for invoking our API call. And once go to app module, since I am using HTTP client, right? So I need to register the HTTP client module. Okay. So for that, what I will do, code from red slash common slash HTTP. Okay. HTTP client module. So let's import the module as well. Okay, client module. And we have also created service, right? So let's import the service in the providers as well. Okay. That's it. Okay. So we have done with our API registration. So let's go to app component. So we have to work on app component HTML and app component.ts file. Okay. So first of all, let's get rid of all these existing HTML. Okay. Get div. And now we have to add Angular material with pagination. So what I will do, I will copy the some default code from the official Angular material website. So it makes our video quicker. Okay. If you want, you can type, but it will take time. Okay. To make it quick, I am copying the some code snippet from the Angular material website. So go for uh, table. Okay. In the examples, let's check for the pagination example. Okay, this is the pagination example. Let's copy here from here. Okay, so what I will do, I will copy this and paste inside of this div. Okay, so here I don't want any loader for my sample. Okay, let's get rid of this. And I will explain everything what we are using. Okay, so let's get rid of these. Okay, let's leave them for now. Okay, and I can get rid of these for now. Okay, so this is the uh, material table HTML default template. So if you observe the table element, it will register with mat table. Okay, and here one of the main important property that was data source. So this data source is nothing but the data we are going to bind. The data we are going to bind the array of to-dos. Okay, so that is here. So it is automatically listens for the changes that has happened for this property in our component. So instead of data, I want to name it like to do. Okay. So to do's, my data source value. So I need to create this to do in my uh, app component. So app component ES file, we should have the property to do's. Okay. And this is of type to do model. And I want to initially I want to assign empty data. Okay. So that's it. That is the area for binding the data. So once this variable have some data, the table can automatically bind it to the uh, table. Okay. Here you can see some additional attributes like a mat sort active. Mat sort means enabling the sorting. Mat sort active means on which initially on which column we are sorting, and mat sort disable clear, and mat sort descending. These are the values for the sorting. So what I will do, I can remove for my demo. I am not using any sorting for my demo. Okay, that's about the table tag. And next thing is ng container. So each column should be registered here. Okay, like this we should be registered. So what are our columns? We have three columns: ID, item name, and is completed. So we should have three columns, right? So I can get rid of one extra. So each column should be registered like this. Okay. And here one more definition is there. One more important attribute is like mat column def. So this value should be unique. Okay. This value should be unique for the column. And most recommended way is better to give the our property name itself, like ID or item name or completed. Okay. So those values must be given here. If you want to give some other also, that is also fine. Okay. But the recommended way is to give the property names. Okay. So I will give like ID. So second one is like item name, and third one is like is completed. Okay. And these values, what we have defined for mat column definitions, will be uh, used for rendering the column dynamically. Means if you don't want to display this one, we can do that. Okay. So if you don't want to display the item name column in the table dynamically, we can do very easily with the help of displayed columns property. So this is a normal property like a array. Till now I haven't given. You can give any name here. Displayed columns instead of columns, displayed column, shown columns, like that. So for this property, we should have a array of column names. So whatever column names we define here, those columns only will be displayed here. So if you change this array dynamically, the data will be hidden or shown dynamically. Okay. So what I will do, I will register all my mat column definitions here. Okay. See, these values must be present here. Okay. If you want to hide some column display, then that column should be removed from this array. So table rendering will hide that column. Okay. But every column registered here should be present here. Okay. So you cannot give like a item to which is not exist here. Okay. Which is not exist here. So like that we can do. So that is the uh, role of the display column here. Here some tier we are registering with the display column. Okay. And next is in the ng container, that means represent the column. So th for table header. So here I can specify anything I want. This is for header of the table, columns headings. Okay. And second one represents the data to be bind for that column. Okay. So this mat cell will receive a row. Okay, through that row we can access. This is like a context. So from this context we can get the our to do item. Okay, so here we are assigning all our to dos, right? So while iterating, each TD will have its own context, and from there we can access property our model. What is our model? This, right? These model properties can be accessed directly here. Okay, and is come. Okay, so that is how they will bind the data. Next thing is here, main thing, mat paginator. Okay, so this is the main component of rendering for the pagination. So let's have a discussion on it. So here for the mat paginator, we have to bind few important properties like length. Okay, LEN. Okay, so this length is nothing but the total records. Okay, that server contains. That means should have total records that will come from the API. Okay, so the number I can say initially 0. I can assign that property. And one more attribute it should have is like directive it should have is like page size. So that represent how many records it want to bind to the our what I can say our table. Okay, so that's it. If you want to make it dynamic, that's also fine. Now let's go to our component. We need to invoke our API call. So I can do constructor. So service. Okay, and here on page change, we have to invoke the API, right? So to do that, we must access this mat paginator, right? So we can use view child implementation to gain the access regarding this mat paginator. Okay. So to do that, let's create a variable for to access the mat paginator. So I can do @view child. Okay, that loads from Angular core, and here I can specify type of that view child mat paginator. So let's import the mat paginator. Okay. So mat paginator. Paginator. Okay. Of type mat paginator. Here, if you observe the red line, that is showing a warning like it is not initialized, but this will be automatically get the instance of mat paginator once the component is rendered, but our Angular will throw the compile time exception if we run our project. So to avoid this kind of case, we have to use question mark, that is nullable. Okay, or else you will get compilation error. You can check by running the application. Okay, now I have the access to the mat paginator. Okay, I want to implement a implements after view init. Okay, so I want to change only after the component is rendered. So for that, I am going to use the lifecycle method, this lifecycle method. Okay, so from here, what I can do, this dot paginator dot page. So this page is a event. So this get invoked on every change of the page. So on change of page, what we will do, right? Now we are going to switch the event by using the switch map. Okay, that is from RxJS operators. Import from RxJS operators. Okay, from here you can use switch map. That means we are changing the event from uh, normal page change to our API call event. Okay, so switch map, it should return a observable type. What I will return this dot app service dot get to do, and to do must send two parameters, that is current page and page size. So to get the current page, we can use Paginator itself. Paginator itself will give us the current page as well as the page size. So by default, uh, initial page index will be 0. So we always increment it by 1. So what I will do is dot paginator dot x. Okay. So +1. Since it is a nullable, what we can do, we can add like that. Okay. So current page and the page size. See, we are writing inside of the page change event. Please remember that. So this dot paginator dot page size. Okay. So let pass those two values. Okay. Now using map operator, that's from RxJS one. It is automatically imported now. Okay. So within the map operator, the return result simply, and finally subscribe the results. Subscribe data. Okay. If data exists. Okay. Then let me make it result only. Name like. Now let's say this dot total records equal to result dot total records. Okay. And this dot to do's array equal to result dot data. right? So that's it. What I'm doing, I'm registering the event here, page event, and I'm calling the API once the data is came and the subscribe to the data and assigning to the to-dos. And now if I save and run the application, let's run the application. Then run start, I believe. Okay, because of we haven't imported the app modules. So go to app module and import the components like mat table module. Okay, let's import explicitly. Okay, and also import the Paginator component. Mat Paginator module. Okay, mat Paginator module. Let's check the output. So now it is compiled. I think module is the issue. So let's access the website. So if you observe here, you can see ID, item name is completed. Some design issues are there. Let's ignore them. If you add these CSS, we will get some good UI. So let me copy paste them in app component.css. Okay, now it is better, right? Some spacing and nice. Okay, so now table you can see empty is rendered and page duration is disabled. That is because the page change what we have used here, this will only invoke on changing the page. That means initially it won't work, right? So initially I can't change page rate. Whenever I change page only, this logic gets executed. If I don't change page, it won't get executed, right? So what I have to do? We need to call uh, initially API also. So for that, what I will do, I will create a method like initial load. Okay, I create a method like initial load. Do this dot app service dot get to do. Okay, I will duplicate this code here as well, and I can pass these parameters current page and page size. Okay, and I have to subscribe it. So this code will only execute one time, that is on component load only. Okay, so data I will copy as it is this subscribe. Okay, only thing I will do is I will call initially. Now it should load page table initially. Let's check it. So if we refresh, now see, we are getting the initial data. See, and here also pagination and next like that, it is showing Mat PageNet. And if you see, if you are in the first page itself, it is automatically disabling this side arrow. Great. So, and here you can see page number fixed, right? But you can give a drop down UI for changing the page size options like 5, 10, 11. So to do that, we can add one more property like, so here you can bind page size option. So it will take the array. If you want, here only we can define like, or else you can add in the component as well as a variable. Okay, now these options will be available for changing the page size to render. Okay, initial size is page size 5. Okay, so now if I reload, now see, we are getting the page sizes. If I change, automatically I am going to get the 10 records, right? Some scrolling is there. Okay, and if I change 10, and we are not getting the at most first and the last pages, right? To do that, we need to add one more directive like here only show first, last buttons. Okay, now it should show us the first and last pagination buttons. See, now we are getting last page button and first page button. Okay, so that's all, guys, about the pagination. Okay, using the Angular material. So I hope you have understand some useful information from this video. So if you like my video, please do subscribe to my channel, and we will meet you soon again with the new videos. Until then, signing off.